graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Oh, you can say that over the phone, Batman, but if I had you here, I'd pound you to a pulp.
Start pounding, Joker.
You've forgotten what I told you a long time ago. One of the painful truths of comedy. You always take shots from folks who just don't get the joke.
As my plastic surgeon always said, if you gotta go with a smile.
He sticks the blade in my mouth. Let's put a smile on that face.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
Look alive, wage slaves! Presenting that caliph of clowns, that mogul of mountebanks, the one and only Joker!
Hello, citizens of Gotham! Joker here. You're listening to Two Strangers, One Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes, or if you're an Android user, you can always find the Stitcher app for Google.
Stick around, because this is just too much fun.
Stay tuned and find out for yourself.
Well, hello and welcome to Two Strangers, One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
And Jesus Christ, I just realized Ant-Man comes out tonight. What the fuck am I doing here recording? I was at work. I had a crazy long day at work. I'm home. We finally got in front of the microphones to record. How did I miss that Ant-Man came out tonight? How did I not go yesterday night?
It's the lack of pussy you're getting.
I must.
You don't have a clear variance of mind.
The buildup of sperm in my body has. My brain is floating around in a puddle of sperm that I must release.
The pipes need to be cleaned.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always on point. For some reason, Ant-Man. To me, I thought Ant-Man was coming out later. And I want to go see it. I want to go see it right now. It's only midnight. I'm pretty sure I could probably catch like a 1:00 showing or something.
Well, too bad you got to record with me. So shut the fuck up.
Or I could just go see like a fucking 10:00 show tomorrow before work.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't have any money. That's why I didn't go see Ant-Man, because I'm broke.
Gee, I wonder how that could happen, and I could make it change like that. Actually, no, I probably couldn't do that tomorrow. Yeah, Sunday, maybe.
Yeah, not opening weekend, but yeah. So as we're talking about this now, unfortunately, a couple days earlier, because there was an early release in Australia, and of course, people who are like in the press and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the post-credit scenes. I believe there's two of them. I could be wrong. One of the post-credit scenes was spoiled to me. Nothing, and I'm not going to spoil it for you people, but it definitely adds to the story. But it's not.
Spoil it. I don't know.
But so I'm like, I can't believe, for someone that I have my head up Marvel's ass. I don't know how I missed the fact that Ant-Man is out tonight. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
of course, Fantastic Four is coming at the beginning of August, so.
Yeah, so I had listened to the director. He directed Chronicle, and he did a couple of he got famous because he did a couple of shorts on YouTube. But because Kevin Smith did an interview with him on his podcast, Fat Man on Batman, and the director for the new Fantastic Four is kind of a dick, I guess would be the best way to put it. And not in an intentional way. He comes from a rich family. He was born and raised in Hollywood. His father made, World War II documentaries and Holocaust documentaries. The guy comes off as like super duper privileged. Like a guy who's never had any kind of like real life. And not to say that that's not going to make him a bad director, because, I actually liked, what's the Chronicle, about the superheroes, which, it's funny, if you go back and look at the movie Chronicle, Michael B. Jordan, the guy who's going to play Johnny Storm in the new Fantastic Four, the same director. So I guess he likes working with him, Michael B. Jordan, the guy who will be playing, Apollo Creed's son in the upcoming Rocky movie. So Michael B. Jordan. I won't
see that fucking movie, by the way.
He better be, his agent better be getting a nice chunk of change, because this kid's getting in all these movies now.
Yeah, but, I'm sure.
Yeah. So like I said, the director comes off as a bit of a dick. So, you know, the little bit of excitement I had for Fantastic Four kind of got a little diminished. I probably shouldn't have listened to the director talk because he comes off like a spoiled asshole.
Let's get away from the nerdy news because we got a lot of it at the end.
Well, obviously with Comic-Con just passing, we have tons and tons of nerdy news to talk about. I guess, you know, the first half of the show we usually do talk about the
wait a minute. Have you been getting like 50 emails from Oscar?
I'm so surprised, dude. I'm so fucking surprised that we haven't. I don't know, maybe he feels bad that he spammed us so much last episode. But
you do realize that if he had done that to me, if he had like spammed my ToonamiFaithful.com account, I probably would have sent him several viruses.
Well,
oh look, you can't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if I'm not mistaken, because our website does let us know what countries are downloaded. Chile, as you know, is the country in South America where we're getting downloads. So I'm assuming Oscar's from Chile. So I wonder if Oscar, if you are, let us know. What country are you from? I'm assuming it's Chile. You know, but. You know, and it's funny because, you know, we talk about a lot of American movies that, you know, we don't, you know, the horrible education in America. I'm not familiar with. I mean, I know where it is on the map. You know, I know it's like the most southernest, western part of South America, but I don't know who the president is or prime minister or who's the head person. I don't know if they're famous for anything. Probably
not.
I mean, I don't want, you know, if we happen to have other Chilean listeners, I definitely don't want to insult them. But I mean, I think when Oscar spams us, I think it's out of love. You tease the ones you love. Remember when you were a kid and you liked the girl and you pulled her pigtails, or you snapped her bra strap, or you know, you hit her with a rubber band or something like that.
Or you try to take her bra off when she started getting tits, you know.
Oh, did I ever tell you my first kiss with a girl? I don't know why I'm talking about like snapping bra straps and well, because we used to play Manhunt, and that was basically like kind of like playing tag, but you had to put your arms around the person. You had to basically like tackle them, and when you held them like in a bear hug, and you had to say Manhunt, Manhunt, 1, 2, 3, Manhunt, Manhunt, 1, 2, 3, Manhunt, Manhunt, 1, 2, 3. You had to hold them for that long. And then now they were on your team, and their job was to help you, you know, hunt other players in the game. So we used to play boys versus girls, you know, boys and girls. And oddly enough, this was in Catholic school where it's so weird to think this happened in the fucking 80s. Our schoolyard was segregated. The boys played on one side and the girls played on the other. And there was like a middle zone that was sort of like
That's really stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
wow, you're an old fucking man.
I'm such an old man. I went to Catholic school where they kept the boys on one side and the girls on the other. Now, of course, if we had certain cool teachers that were like the monitors, you know, they would let boys go over to the girls' side, girls come over to the boys' side. It was more the boys going over to the girls. The girls rarely came over to the boys' side. Now, but I remember I was in 6th grade, and I had snuck over to the girls' side. Now, the girls' side, now mind you, there were 2 separate entrances. You know, there was 2 separate entrances to the building, and they were each on different sides of the playground. And I was in the 6th grade, and the girl that I kissed her, she was in the 8th grade. And I had liked her and stuff, and she had liked me back. And so she had a friend, and I you know what, I'm not going to use her name, but her friend was a big girl. You know, her friend was, and unfortunately, it's really tragic when you think about it these days. Like her parents had money, but her parents weren't there, so she would like go and eat McDonald's every day. So like she was like the fattest girl in school. This isn't the girl I kissed. This is her best friend. And so her friend comes up to me and says, "Oh," and the girl's name was Uma. I'll never forget it. Uma. She was a Indian, you know, not Native American, Indian as in from India. And I guess I can use her name because I mean she was sweet enough to kiss me. So her friend comes up to me and says, "Oh, Uma would like to see you in the girls' bathroom." And I said, "What?" I said, "I can't go to the girls' bathroom." And like I said, this girl, being the big girl that she goes, "I made sure no other girls were in there." So you know, then she helped me make make my escape out of the playground down to, into the entrance of the building towards the girls' bathroom, and the bathroom was empty and it was just Uma, and she goes, I really want to kiss you, and I was like, okay, and I remember because I was leaning awkwardly against like the bathroom sink or whatever, and and she leaned in and kissed me. It was my first kiss was in the girls' bathroom of Catholic school.
Well, wasn't that sweet? That's not what we talk on this podcast. You fucking piece of shit.
Well, no, I mean, with a girl that was 2 years older than me. I mean, how much?
So what you're saying is basically, if I read between the lines, what you're saying is you haven't been laid and you need some pussy desperately.
No,
gotcha.
Let me see if I did that. No, I got laid a couple days before my birthday, so about a month ago, a little over a month ago. It's the last time I got laid. But I'm not seeing anybody right now, But and I made a Facebook post about this. I was at work and this cute girl comes in, kind of like a rocker chick. I mean, like she had like green highlights in her hair. Kind of like, I mean, okay, I'll have to admit she did kind of.
It was probably out of that scene of Family Guy where like they're all wearing like knight's armor and they're like ting ting ting. That was Chris when he saw her ting.
And well, she had like, I mean, the one thing that was kind of that you would think I wouldn't like is she was wearing glasses that were like hipster glasses, I guess would be the best way. And petite, covered in tattoos, and I was just, and her and I kind of, she was a customer and stuff like that, and her and I, we just started talking. She's standing at my register, and I'd already had taken care of her transaction. It wasn't like I'm fucking holding her hostage, and you
were holding her hostage. It's fine. Wait, you still have a job, right?
Well, yeah. Well, that's so what had happened was then I finally asked her, are you seeing anybody? And then see, that's the whole thing is, I mean, yes, it was technically a rejection, but she said, yeah, I'm seeing someone. So it was a rejection, but it wasn't like, oh, I don't like you. It's, but I am seeing, she's like, I said, I had asked her, I said, are you seeing anyone? I said, I'd really like to give you my number. And, I mean, she didn't take it, but she said, I'm seeing, but she smiled and she was very, very sweet about it. And then as she, like right before she left, she goes, oh, by the way, what's your name? I'm over here pretty much asking this girl out. I didn't even fucking bother to ask her name. So she introduced herself. I introduced me. She shook, and then like you had mentioned right before the podcast, I was kind of worried because she's like, what's your name? And I'm like, oh shit. She's going to call my district manager.
Yep.
You're not supposed to be flirting with the customers. Just fucking ring them up and get them out. So, but I'm like, and like I said, it just like, what a dick move on my part that I didn't even fucking ask the girl's name. I'm asking her.
Well, at least you get sweet customers.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing is that usually that's what made it like, because I'm used to dealing with fucking assholes all day. That the minute I meet someone that's like not a total selfish asshole that just wants to move, because let me tell you, I deal with people all day where it's like, now I love it how like people they'll talk about the people who say like, oh, have a blessed day, but they're the people who like they why is the line so slow, but then when they're done with their transaction, oh, have a blessed day. Or if someone, like if someone accidentally steps in front of them, oh, what the fuck, don't you see me standing here? But the minute, but as soon as I'm done with the transaction.
You have Chinese people that come into your place? Is that what you're telling me?
No, not Chinese.
Well, you cited Chinese there for a minute.
Well, I was trying to sound a little more.
Yeah, I get what
you don't see me standing here? So yeah, it's kind of stuff like that. So, but then when they're done with the transaction, oh, have a blessed day. So, actually dealing with someone that wasn't a total fucking asshole piece of shit, kind of, it got me the guts enough to fucking, ask if she, if she wanted to go out once sometime. But, yeah, so I, that was,
like I said, you get the good customers, I get the shitty ones.
Oh yeah, he said that some guy made a big stink today.
Oh yeah, so I don't really ever get really any shitty customers, honestly. Actually, I joke about that, but I don't always get these shitty customers. It's actually like a rarity to actually get some fucking asshole being stupid. Last night I had somebody, I mean, they weren't being rude. They were kind of like on their period for like 2 seconds, and then they were fine after they got their tickets, but like they came to me with passes, and they're like, I'm like, oh, well, you guys got to take these back up to the box office and exchange them for tickets. And the lady and her husband are like, what do you mean we have to get tickets for this? I'm like, yeah, you have to exchange these for tickets so that way we know which movie you're going to, plus, whatever. We have to make sure you have tickets. And they're like, well, there's no girl up at the box office. And I'm staring, as she's talking to me, I'm staring directly at my employee, who's all like about several feet, obviously, at the beginning of the entrance of the theater. And here she is with a line of people doing tickets. She hasn't left that box all night. And I'm sitting there going, okay, well, you guys got to go up there and get it. They're like, oh. And the guy complained a little bit more. He's like, oh, well, there should be, don't you think there should be another person up there? And I'm sitting there going, okay, whatever.
Yeah, how about you get to the fucking theater on time?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
how about you pay attention to your passes and actually read that, oh, I have to exchange these. But, I mean, that wasn't a big deal. I mean, that happens every once in a while, whatever. Today, I think this guy was on his menstrual period, because this miserable fuck comes up to the concession stand, and he was fine at first. Like, he was like, he came up, he's like, I want a large icy, and I'm like, yeah, give me a second. I turn around, I'm like, oh fuck, the stupid machine's the Coke side's not working. I'm like, yeah, sorry sir, it's not working. Can I get you a different icy? He's like, well, what'll be working? I'm like, give it about maybe 5-10 minutes. It probably will be working. I'm not sure. So the guy's like, oh, well, just come back. So he comes back, and I don't know. I was called over to take tickets because the other manager had to run upstairs and take care of something. So, I don't know if the guy was standing there, or had come up to the counter as I had left, but, he says to my employee, he's like, is the icy thing ready? And she's like, no, it's not ready. And, he's like, why isn't it ready? Blah, 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 blah. And he starts yelling at her and everything. So she comes over to me, and she's like, I need you to come behind concession. She tried to get my boss because I'm taking tickets. And my boss is like, you need to go up there. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went up there, and, this guy just starts yelling at me. He's just like, He's like, you were right fucking here. You could have taken care of me. That was bad. I'm like, dude, I was over there taking tickets this whole time. So I don't know what you're talking about. The Coke machine, the Coke Icy's not. It's not even about the Coke Icy. I'm like, and so at this point, I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm like literally reaching in my pocket, about to grab my cell phone and call the mall security and have this fucking piece of shit removed. And I'm like, I stopped reaching for it, and I went, you know what, sir? I'm sorry, but you have a nice day. And I just walked away because, I don't need to put myself into a customer service situation where this guy's going to be sitting here being a fucking asshole, and, I lose my job because he's being a fucking asshole, Yeah. I don't need that. I need the fucking money. I need to take care of my kid. I need to fucking be able to live, take care of my family. So I'm not going to put myself in that situation. So I walked away. Chris, I don't shit you. My boss is up selling tickets. He goes up to the box office and starts yelling at him, telling him like, I'm an whatever. Yeah. And he's still trying to do tickets. And I'm back at the ticket stand, still ripping tickets again. And this guy, as he walks by me, he's like, oh, you must be good at ripping tickets.
Oh, God.
So
miserable prick who
I'm
he has his own battle in his fucking head going on right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was ready at that point to just be like, okay, well, guess what, you fuck? I'm calling the security, and if you don't get to your theater by the time they get here, guess what? You get a one-way ticket to getting fucking kicked out without a refund. Because that's the thing, a lot of people, a lot of kids, if they come in, they try to sneak into shit and blah, blah, blah. I just throw them out without a refund. That's the way, that we've done it in past. We just throw them out because these guys are just so, they're just incredibly just, stupid, like this guy was. And at least this guy wasn't sneaking in, but at the same time, it's like, dude, chill out. I'm sorry that you don't have a Coke Icy. There's nothing I can do about it. You know what I mean?
And he's bitching about a fucking Coke Icy. That's, I can understand if something was holding him back, or if you go to a movie theater, if for whatever reason, the screen is bad or the audio is bad or people are making noise in the theater. This guy's made a big fucking deal about fucking the Icy machine. you know.
And, after he had left, I looked over the machine, and some of the other ones were not being, they weren't being helpful, so to speak. So I'm just sitting there going, okay, well, then this must be, something must be going on with the machine. So probably there is a problem with the machine, but it's still at the same time, it's just like, look, you could have been a little bit more courteous and not been a fucking asshole about it. Like, I'm surprised, because I usually have, when that happens, I usually have customers around me that just go, what a fucking dickhead. I'm surprised somebody didn't turn to him and go, hey, shut the fuck up and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, because I think, like you, when you deal with customers, customers kind of just, you deal with the customer for like 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? I'm assuming, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you go, you do, boom, 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 they, they get their ticket, they get their thing, and they keep it moving.
Well, and it's, I don't mind. I'm usually stuck in a position. Sorry, I'm a little tired. It's been a long week. I usually have to work a cash register at some point, just like you do. So yeah, I interact with customers all the time. It's not anything, no big deal, no nothing, blah blah blah. It's just it's like, okay, I'm doing my job. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. I'm actually being polite to you, and you want to turn into a dick.
Yeah, like I said, that guy, like I said, he was fighting his own battle in his head.
And like I was waiting for my boss to try to be like a dick about it, because he usually will like take the side of the customer even though they're asshole. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and he just asked me like, what was that all about? I was like, it was over a Coke Icy. He's like, I'm like, I was completely polite with the guy, Tony. I was like, I have this guy over here. You could talk to any employee that was back here. They saw this idiot being stupid. I was completely polite with him. I'll get written statements if I have to. And it's just, at that point, it's just, it shouldn't have happened. Like it shouldn't have gone down like that. If you really are that fucking obsessed about Coke Icy, then really. You're a fat ass. I'm sorry. You're a fat fuck that needs to go fucking play with himself and play some more World of Warcraft, because that's all you can do is get laid by playing with yourself.
He's been fiending for a super slushy all day or whatever.
My God, I need some Coke.
Sir, next time you come in, you get a free refill. How about that?
It's so stupid.
Because it's like me, like on my job, like I deal with like everyone's a fucking, everyone thinks they're a fucking beautiful and unique snowflake. Like the shit that drives me nuts is like people who complain. Now, mind you, as I've said several times in the past, my store is in a bad neighborhood, and you get people who complain about like the line not going as fast as it should. And now, mind you, it's not my fault. It's not my fault the person in front of you doesn't have their money ready. It's not my fault that the person in front of you, it takes forever to put their money back in their fucking purse, or they don't have their ID when they're fucking buying beer, because, the same people who come 30 times a fucking day and buy beer, and, they don't know but like my favorite complaint is people like, my car's running. And I'm like, really? In this fucking neighborhood, you left your car running in this fucking neighborhood?
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. And I know where you work too. It's just like, why, like, don't come up with a stupid excuse. Just be honest with me. Like, hey, fucking asshole, get this shit moving longer.
Yeah.
You know what it is too is like, it's not a matter of, it's like these customers like want you to get everything done, but here's the problem. You don't have enough people on. Mm-hmm. So how is that your fault? It isn't. It isn't your fucking fault. So if it isn't your fault, then, it doesn't pertain to you.
Yeah. Well, with me, it's always the people who don't have their money ready. And my thing is that if you've been standing in line, you're in line. You have nothing else to do but to get your shit ready. You're standing there, you're goofing off, you're looking at the fucking, at the stupid, those magazines, the Inquirer and fucking, what's Kim Kardashian doing this week? No, that time you've wasted looking at stupid fucking magazines. You could have gotten your wallet out. You could have gotten your cash out. Like I said, we're a unique store in my neighborhood because we actually check IDs when people buy beer, because we're actually a corporate entity that is, has standards and has, and responsibilities. If we lose our liquor license, if we lose the ability to sell alcohol,
and they send people in all the time.
We get kids all the time. We get us, it's the kids to buy cigarettes. It's always a kid that comes in. They always get someone about 16 years old to come in and buy cigarettes, and then we ask them for their ID, and then about 5 minutes later, then a cop comes in, and he gives it he gives us this little piece of paper, and it lets us know that we've passed the test. past. So, but my thing is that if I can understand if you're going to the bullshit fucking Al Qaeda run fucking corner store, they're not going to check your ID because they don't give a fuck. If they lose their license, they have a cousin, that will fucking reapply.
Right.
Well, the store will be back in business a week later. We're an actual corporate entity that we actually have something to lose. Have your fucking ID out. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe people are surprised. And I hate the fucking stupid line. Oh, it's a compliment you're checking my ID. Asshole, just pull out your fucking ID. You're not funny. It's not it's not the first time I've seen it. I heard it.
I think I started a bitch storm here.
Yeah, people are like, oh, you can't tell by my gray hair. It's company policy, asshole. Look there's fucking 50 cameras in the ceiling, all pointed at the cash registers, because obviously if someone came with a gun, this is where they would use it. I said, I'm being watched on fucking. When you're standing at the register, there's at least 3 cameras pointed at you. I said, there's 3 cameras pointed at me right now. I have to do my job. Show me your fucking ID. I mean, I'm not like that. Look, it's my job. I have to show it. Look, and I'll joke and I'll point at the camera. I say, Big Brother's watching. But I'm making light of it. But it's just and these people don't they're so stuck in their own little bullshit fucking worlds. And they can't wait to fucking go and buy their liquid crack, because that's all those cheap beers are.
Oh, I love setting you off. Crack. It's great. Well, I love getting you on a tangent. It's great.
Yeah, because these people they all want and it's like all day, every day, all they do is drink beer. There's nothing I want to do every day. It could be fucking Halle Berry saying, I want to give you a blowjob every day. After about a month, I go, okay, calm down. Let's spread that one. Let's give it another. Let's wait a day or two in between. I don't understand these people want to get drunk every fucking day. These pathetic fucking low life losers. And then have the, because it's funny. It's always the people who are buying beer who can't wait in line. It's always the people who are buying beer that like bitch about the line not moving. Where are you going to go stand in front of the other corner store?
Yeah, you're gonna go back to your house where you're collecting welfare.
To go sit on the fucking porch and watch traffic go by. Yeah. That's all you're doing. Are you gonna go stand in front of the off-track betting, or to go stand in front of the check cashing place?
God, we are so racist at this point.
Well, let's put it like this: it would be racist if I was lying, or it would be racist if I was exaggerating.
This is
true.
What
I'm saying? I'm not making this shit up. Well, here in Rochester, one of the bigger known places, a place called Chester's Check Cashing. Is a guy who was smart enough to open 2 separate check cashing places in the worst fucking neighborhoods, and then what does he do? Both those check cash places are next door to a liquor store. You know what I'm saying?
And they're probably owned by him.
And no, they are. The one on I want to say Brown and not Brown. Whatever.
There's one on North Goodman. I know that.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying he runs a check cash, and then the one it's right Broad Street. That's where it is. There's one he has on Broad Street, which is it's a check cashing place, a liquor store, and then he opened up a storage facility across the street. Now, of course, the storage facilities they make money because they have storage. What they really do with the storage facilities is they're hoping that people have bad credit, don't pay their bills, and then they can auction off the shit that's inside. You know what I'm saying? That's inside. Because obviously, I mean, some people do put a lot of garbage in storage, but they want people who are putting nice things in storage, don't pay their fucking bills, default, and then all of a sudden, because the contract they signed with the storage facility, now it becomes property of the people who own the property. And then sell it off and auction it off,
Right.
All those stupid Storage Wars shows. Saying this guy is a genius making money off of, people who don't know how to fucking manage their money, and so, check cashing places, liquor stores. And like I said, would I be racist if it wasn't the truth, if it wasn't the same 30 people standing where if you followed them when they left the check cashing place, they would go and hang out in front of the off-track betting or go and hang out in front of the liquor store, even though they just bought beer, or go and hang out in front of the corner store or go sit on a porch. It's it would be racist if I was lying. It'd be racist if I was exaggerating. It's the fucking truth. You know what I'm saying? I should carry a fucking camera around with me, but I guess I do on my phone, but and like I said, then you got people. I left my keys in my car. Are you fucking kidding me? In this fucking neighborhood, you're either lying or incredibly fucking stupid.
Or both.
If you left your keys in a car in that fucking neighborhood, then or you left your car running, you're a fucking idiot.
Right.
So we'll be back with more dick and fart jokes.
This episode of Two Strangers, One Podcast is brought to you by Comics Etc. 1115 East Main and North Goodman at the Hungerford Building, door number 8. Find out more information at comicsetc.biz or like them on Facebook at facebook.com/comicsetc1.
Click and Hit, enhancing the experience for all recreational smokers. Click and Hit is a one-handed portable vaporizer. This smoking pipe has a compact 4-stage design, complete with a built-in, windproof, butane refillable torch lighter. The large burn chamber holds your stash of legal herb or pipe tobacco. Click the button to ignite and inhale as usual. When you are done, put it back in your pocket for later. Smoke anytime with the touch of a button. No more carrying around grinders and tins. You can leave the pipe, rolling papers, and even your lighter at home. The Click and Hit cordless vaporizer is no bigger than a normal cigar, making it the world's smallest and most discreet vaporizer. It's perfect for use in small places or shared rooms. It's efficient, getting 5 to 8 draws from your packed chamber. It's affordable at just $19.95 each. Buy 3 and the shipping is free. Buy 4 and you get the 5th one free. Visit www.click-hit.com. That's clickandhit.com. And now for listeners of Two Strangers One Podcast, you can use promo code STRANGERS and receive 10% off your purchase at clickandhit.com. That's promo code STRANGERS for 10% off your purchase.
And we're back. Okay, Paulie, Jesus, Comic-Con 2015, San Diego Comic-Con is come and gone. I'm gonna quote our buddy John J. Galbo, and I want to give him a shout out. He had me on his live podcast.
Yeah,
last
you
week.
fucking cheated on me. I got you. Couldn't continue.
Well, if there were other people, he invited everybody. It was sort of a deal where he's like, "I'm doing a live show. Anybody who wants to Skype in can Skype in." But I want to give him a shout out, John, and the Adventure Club podcast. Adventure Club podcast, ACPN podcast network. I want to give him a shout out, but to quote him, because he went to New York Comic Con last year, so did I, and he had said, I'm not. What he said is, I'm not bummed this year about going to San Diego Comic Con because I'm going to New York Comic Con, because last year, New York Comic Con actually beat out San Diego, and I kind of feel the same way. I don't feel really like I'm missing out on going to San Diego this year. And of course, I wish I would have been there. You had posted that picture on my page of Ariel from the fucking Little Mermaid, like, I want to be where the people are. Yeah, of course, I would love to go to San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah, I did put that on your fucking profile. I was like, I want to be where the people are.
But okay, where to fucking begin?
Yeah, there's a long list of stuff. We were going over this before we started the podcast, but I'll tell you one thing: Adult Swim. I could say it on this podcast because I can't say it on the Toonami one, but why are we not advertising Toonami when they're doing a panel at fucking San Diego Comic-Con? Mm-hmm. I didn't understand that. It's like you said it once on a bump, and then it disappeared, and then you never said anything about it again. Mm-hmm. And then when we asked about it at MomoCon, that's when people found out, and that's how people knew that they were doing it. And yes, they obviously advertised it on air. I think they advertised it on air, I want to say. I know they advertised it all over their Facebook and Tumblr, but it's just like, you could have maybe said a little bit more about Toonami. I kind of noticed that, and I was like, whatever. I'm like, whatever.
You would think Comic-Con would be like the fucking. Of course, yes, yes, MomoCon, yes, Dragon Con. I get it, but why not San Diego? I don't understand how that's not a priority for them. And it's not like, I don't think you'd have to pull that many strings to get a strong Toonami presence at.
Oh, no. What they did was they had, and we'll get to the other news. I know people are going to be like, oh, fuck Toonami. Why are we talking about this? But, to put in perspective, and I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure they probably do this at like San Diego Comic-Con. Other panels at San Diego Comic-Con, sorry. They gave out tickets because one of our guys was actually going to San Diego Comic-Con, and he actually was able to get in. I was like, thank God. Because I didn't know if they were going to announce anything. I think they gave out like 500 tickets, and I'm guessing they gave away all 500, I hope. But it was, it should have been a little bit bigger because you got the voice from like Star Wars and fucking, Tom himself and
Steve Bloom.
Megas XLR, yes, Steve Bloom. It's just like, he's there on the panel with them. It's live on AdultSwim.com. Why are you not advertising this? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a frustration. Don't get me wrong. Like, that Toonami Facebook page that they have, I don't know if you've seen it, but, back in the Cartoon Network days where they had all those likes, when they reactivated it, they still had all those likes, and it's just like, ooh, look, we can play with this. okay, fine, you got all those people seeing it, but still, it's just like, you could have at least done something. That's just my bitch. I just wanted to bitch about that real quick.
Well, I mean, the granddaddy of them all, the one trailer that I think everyone has been talking about, or anyone who's a fan of this show
and it's
was
most
excited about is the Batman v Superman trailer. I mean, of course, we'll get to Suicide Squad in a second, but the big daddy. This is the one that's sort of linking the whole universe. This is the to use the Marvel analogy. This is the Iron Man movie. This is this is going to be the one that gives us Wonder Woman, gives us Aquaman.
One thing I read today, actually, sorry to interrupt you, but the director, I believe, said, and this is interesting, instead of because we've always thought of Metropolis and Gotham City kind of separate, not so close together. Apparently, the way they're right next to each other, and Gotham City is like a Detroit, and then Metropolis is basically like a New York City. Is that the best way to say it? Kind of, one is kind of not as good and kind of crime ridden, and the other one is
hustle and bustle and
right.
That was kind of news because people have always equated Gotham with New York City, but then again, the Metropolis was always kind of New York City also. So I mean, they both kind of they were both East Coast cities, especially in DC, because I know I want to say Star City is supposed to be Philadelphia. I know there's I think there's even a city in the DC universe called Coast City, which is basically Los Angeles.
Well, they should just include them by now. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. I mean, but then because it's always weird because when you watch Smallville now, Smallville is supposed to be Kansas. Kansas is in the middle of the fucking country. And yet all these people who left Smallville go to Metropolis. If Metropolis is supposed to be New York City is nowhere near fucking Kansas. You know what I'm saying? Near Smallville, Kansas. New York City is 1,500 miles away from the center of the country.
I mean, they probably
go. So I would assume these cities are probably more in the center part of the United States. Even though, because they both seem to have a lot of bridges and water around them. I mean, they're basically New York City, but yeah, you live in a world where there's New York City, Metropolis, and Gotham, and they're all sort of northern, eastern cities. Just shut up and accept it. Well, I guess Gotham's probably more of a Chicago. I think that's kind of why, Chris Nolan, when he did his Batman trilogy, he filmed a bunch of it in Chicago or Pittsburgh. Those sort of cities that where they're grimy and dark and but still well developed and tons of industry and tons of big skyscrapers and stuff like that.
Well, we all know that Chicago has a lot of crime, so.
And so obviously, and I mean, the trailer kind of spoils it. We see Batman, we see Bruce Wayne, walking down the street.
Yeah.
He's looking at a building. Holy shit! There's fucking giant lasers passing through the building. The building's collapsing. And of course, you see the side of the building. It says fucking, Wayne Industries or whatever. He's watching his own fucking building get, collapsed, because of these these aliens fighting. And, it's supposed to be taking place during the end battle in Man of Steel. You see him hugging this little girl, which a lot of people are saying is going to be the Carrie Kelly Robin, or they feel that the girl that the one from The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, The Dark Knight Returns, excuse me. That little girl. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that's speculation, but the scene where Bruce Wayne is hugging a little girl, that little girl is going to be the Carrie Kelly. If they decide to go down that route.
Well, I also heard, and this is just something. I mean, we're getting to this obviously because there's a lot of shit in this trailer, but apparently Bruce Wayne has sent something in the mail. It's like an article, and God, what is the exact words that's on it?
You let your family die or something.
Yeah, you let your family die was what it was. There's a lot of speculation as to because there's a message on the Robin suit too.
Yeah,
there's speculation that it's either the Joker and then this was another thing is that it could be the Robin that they're using is, and I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but he becomes Red Hood, I believe.
Yeah, that's the Tim Drake. The Tim Drake Robin is the one who, and this is not really spoilers, but he gets killed. Initially, he gets killed by the Joker. The Joker, and the scene is where he beats Tim Drake to death with a fucking crowbar. Then I forget it. The story kind of changes, but basically he ends up going to the Lazarus Pit, which for characters, people who remember the cartoon or whatever, Lazarus Pit is what Ra's al Ghul uses. It's basically something that can bring the dead back to life. Mm-hmm. Well, no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Ra's al Ghul never died. He always just went into Lazarus Pit and got rejuvenated.
Right.
And they never knew what the effects were on if you put a dead person in it. One of the stories goes that they took Jason Todd, they put him in the Lazarus Pit, and he came back. Now mind you, before the Joker kills him, the Joker keeps him as a hostage. He tortures him. He uses all types of psychological shit. He basically brainwashes him right before he kills him, which is kind of weird when you think about it. Why would you spend all this time torturing and making someone hate Batman then to just kill him? So, he goes into the Lazarus Pit, he comes back, and now he's rejuvenated, he's brainwashed to hate Batman, not to mention the fact that he does feel, well, hell, where were you? Why did you let the Joker kill me? You know what I'm saying? You were supposed to be my mentor and my savior and my hero, and you let me get fucking killed. So he has a lot of resentment, so he comes back, initially as the Red Hood, which was the Joker, who the Joker was before he was the Joker, before he got turned into the pale-faced, green-haired person that we know. He was once again, depending on which story you use, there were guys who had him put on a red hood.
Right.
In one story, it's like they kind of forced him to go and rob a bank as his character with a red hood on. And so Tim Drake comes back as the Red Hood. And of course, he looks a lot more badass now. He kind of has like a military style, instead of having like just the red dome.
Yeah, but isn't like Red Hood? He's kind of like a Batman, but he basically kills people. Isn't that kind of what it is?
Yeah, he's sort of like Batman. It's a dark Batman. It's like he's trained by Batman. He knows all of Batman's tactics and everything like that. But he will pull out. And then he's known for carrying 2 guns.
Right.
And he will.
Well, and then doesn't he try to eventually he tries to kill the Joker?
Yeah.
Because there's an animated story about that where he tries to kill the Joker, and the Joker's basically laughing at him like, you're not gonna, he's like, you're not serious about this or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And, he almost comes close to it, but Batman stops him, and, eventually all this gets, I don't know, somehow resolved. But
forgive me, I keep getting them confused. I keep talking about the Jason Todd Robin, not the Tim Drake Robin. Forgive me. I just wanted.
There's so many
my fact checking.
There's so many Todd Robins right now that it's not even. It's really weird. I kind of hope, and I'm sure you're on the same board with me. And again, we're only speculating at this point, but I kind of hope that they bring Bruce's son into this. This would be a perfect way to bring live action, because I think it's been successful animation wise to do the Son of Batman. I think that I don't know if they'll probably keep that separate from everything, but I think live action wise, that would be an interesting story to go in, because that's never been done in this Batman continuum of live action movies since the first movie was done by Michael Keaton, And obviously the series came first. When was that? The 70s? The Batman series in the 70s? It was
60s, the 66
60s, okay.
was the cheesy Adam West one.
Yeah, the Adam West.
I mean, that would all love. I love
Adam
West Batman. But in the trailer for Batman v Superman, you do see once again, forgive me for being wrong about that. Forgive me for the Jason Todd Robin outfit that the Joker has spray painted. Ha, the joke's on you. That's straight out the comics. That's straight out, I believe even the animated series, where Batman has kept that old Robin outfit sort of as a reminder, sort of like one of his greatest failures. And it's not a trophy, but he keeps it in his trophy room.
It's a reminder to him that he can't. That while he doesn't kill anybody, he has to. That's a consideration that he may have to have in the future. future.
Yeah,
because,
the people he cares about, the people he care about can get hurt.
Right, and he may have to take it to the degree where he kills some of these evil people in order to stop them from doing such things as this. But he doesn't really do that. That's the thing. Like, you never really see Batman kill somebody. So,
which kind of, kind of when you put two and two together, it is the Jared Leto Joker. It's that Joker that is the one that has killed the Robin.
Right. Well, I mean, if you, and we'll kind of, I guess this is kind of a way to intertwine the Suicide Squad trailer. Mm-hmm. There's a part at the end of the trailer where Joker's like, I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to
hurt you real bad.
Hurt you real bad. And I think that might be the scene that we're looking for. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we'll get to see that. And also the other thing that coming out of this trailer, first of all, it seems to focus mainly on Bruce Wayne. You see a little bit more of Lex Luthor. Mm-hmm. You see a little bit more of Wonder Woman. A lot of people are very happy with how Wonder Woman has turned out.
Yeah, I think the first second you see her in the trailer, she's fucking. When she's into Wonder Woman outfit, because I think you see her as Diana Prince first.
And it might be, maybe I'm losing my mind, but there's a scene where you see Lex Luthor, where Superman is actually bowing to Lex Luthor at one part, and it looks like, and maybe I'm inferring from this, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, it looks like Lex Luthor somehow is able. I think this whole fight between Superman and Batman happens because Lex Luthor is able to control Superman, and I think it has to do something with the green kryptonite, because he's able to say, look, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, I think it's safe to assume that with this being Batman v Superman, Lex Luthor is probably the puppet master behind everything. Right. I think that's safe to assume, and I don't think that's not really a spoiler. No. He's a mastermind. I
think it's also safe to say that Wonder Woman comes in between these two as they're fighting and tries to stop them from doing collateral damage, so to speak.
Yeah, because in one of the scenes everyone seems to be speculating about in the trailer, there's Batman out in the desert or Batman visiting some sort of wasteland.
Yeah.
But I mean, once again, I total speculation from a video. If you look in the background of the video, and once again, this was like a millionth of a second, someone had to pause it and it's very blurry. It looks like what could be ruins, like at Athens.
You know what?
Ruins.
And there again, that could be the Lazarus Pit too. That could be going towards your storyline too.
Oh, okay.
That could be
to the Amazons and Lazarus
Well,
Pit.
I mean, somewhere the Lazarus Pit is ancient, so it could be tied to Wonder Woman too in some way. But I'm just at this point, it's just a lot of speculation. At the end of the day, when you came out of this trailer, you went, okay, I feel a lot better about the direction of Batman versus Superman, because it's kind of, me and you have both agreed that we've kind of been on this kind of like, okay, the idea is great and awesome, they're going to do it, but it just seems like they're putting way too much into this film. And I like where this film is going. I'm hoping that we get to see finally this whole thing come together in an intelligent way. And I also like the fact that they're kind of going into the first film, which I still have to see, Man of Steel. I need to see that.
You haven't seen it yet?
I have not seen it yet, and I need to see it. But I need I like the fact that they're intertwining these, meaning where accidentally he cuts through a building and the building falls over.
Well, in Man of Steel, and this is not a spoiler, a lot of people brought it up and there are a lot of screenshots of it. There's a part where Superman flies into outer space and you see a satellite and it says Wayne Industries or Wayne Tech or so. It clearly says Wayne Tech. And of course, when you're in the theater, you had a couple of nerds go like, "Woo!" So it was either an Easter egg or they took that Easter egg and they said, "Fuck it, let's make this thing happen." Because it's clearly the satellite says Wayne Industries or Wayne Tech or something. It says Wayne on it.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Like, I like where this is going. And you know what? We actually have to say this too before I forget, because this just came to mind, and I'm sure you're excited about this too. The Batman movie, the standalone Batman movie that's going to be coming, is actually going to be co-written and directed by Ben Affleck, which excites me to no end. Yeah. I actually said that to somebody. I said this way before anything happened. I said, if Ben Affleck actually directed a Batman movie, I guarantee you that this fucking thing would be like just completely and utterly awesome. It would probably be on the same level as a Christopher Nolan directed Batman film. And I'm looking more at The Dark Knight.
Yeah, well, no, here's a few things. One, I mean, Kevin Smith, once again, I'm a huge fan of Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith bought his current house from Ben Affleck.
Right.
One of the things Ben Affleck did in the house was he made his own secret room that opens up when you open up, the William Shakespeare head, like from the 66 Batman. There's a secret room that opens up, which I think Kevin turned into his office. Ben Affleck back, Kevin Smith, I think, bought that house about 10 years ago. 10 years before he was even Daredevil, was a Batman fan. He had talked about, and you're gonna laugh. Remember when R. Kelly had that song, Gotham City?
No. Are you talking about? Are you sure you're not talking about? God, what is his name? He did the theme song for.
No, not Seal, not Kiss from a Rose.
Okay.
No, R. Kelly did a song called Gotham City, and he had said Kevin Smith was telling a story about, I want to say when he was filming either Dogma or Jersey Girl, that Ben Affleck would just, as a goof, just like out of nowhere, just start belting out Gotham City. Saying like, okay, yes, he was a fan of the cheesy movies, but a real fan is a fan of the cheesy movies.
Exactly.
A real fan is going to say, I'd rather have Joel Schumacher's Batman than no Batman at all. The fact that, of course, he's not going to give us Joel Schumacher's Batman. He's going to give us Ben Affleck's Batman.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example of something. Like, right now, Jose, who used to be the host of the Tsunami Faithful podcast, and he is actually doing the DVDs for IGPX for Discotech right now, and he's doing it for free. Mm-hmm. That's what he said, free. I don't know if I would do it for free, but whatever. In that case, he's probably the biggest IGPX fan I know. Mm-hmm. And I've always said, and I continue to say to this day, that if anybody's going to redo IGPX, it should be Jose. That's the same thing with Batman. If you're gonna do, and not just Batman, but any movie or any series or whatnot, if you're a huge fan of that series or movie, and in this case Batman, you should be the one, that huge fan should be the one to create that movie, because they're the ones that are so enthusiastic, that are so into this film, that are so want to bring out this product that is awesome and incredible, that they're going to do a better job than Joe Schmo that has like 50 Emmys, that just wants to get another Emmy, And I think Ben Affleck is definitely a perfect person to not only direct it, but also apparently I heard this, and this is just, I don't know if this part was correct, but the guy he's co-writing it with is one of the writers for the Batman comic books, I believe.
Yeah, oh my god, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank right now. He's written. Is it Jeff Loeb? No, hold on.
I don't know who it is, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's really good to have all this happening, and it's just I'm excited. Jeff Johns, okay. Go ahead.
No, well, Jeff Johns. I guess the most popular thing, or at least one thing that I think you saw the animated movie. It's funny I say the animated movie. The Flashpoint Paradox.
Flashpoint Paradox. I don't remember that one.
It was at the end where it's the Flash and Batman, and the Flash gives Batman like a letter from, like, Flash goes into an alternate timeline and basically gets a letter from like Bruce Wayne's dad or whatever. It's whatever. I mean, Jeff Johns has written, especially in the past, I want to say the past 10 years at least, like every major event that has happened at DC. Back when they did, like I said, the Flashpoint Paradox, the new 50. Oh, excuse me, just 52, which not before they came out with the new 52. 52. He's like. he's the mastermind. He's the guy who says, okay, everybody, this is what we're going to do. And then everyone, he has this one main arc that he writes. And then all the other writers kind of follow.
Bounce off of that.
Yeah, they bounce off that. They go, okay, I'm going to do this. And then, he'll from what I understand, he'll give assignments. Okay, all right, now that I'm doing with these characters, all right, since we're not using, we're using A, B, and C, so why don't you guys go over there, take D, E, and F, and give us a fucking kick-ass story, because since I'm using A, B, and C. He sees the big picture. You know what I'm saying? And I guarantee you, even though it's going to be a Batman standalone movie, there's definitely going to be elements of DC Universe. You know what I'm saying? It's not, yes, it's going to be a Batman standalone movie, but it's part of this bigger picture, the way, Man of Steel went into Batman v Superman, which goes into Suicide Squad, which goes into, all these movies are going to be tied in together.
Right. And there's going to be a Justice League movie, which is incredible. And I'm very happy to see this all coming together. And it just, DC is looking better and better day by day. Marvel has been doing a wonderful job. I think they're finally coming up to what Marvel has. But that being said, we haven't seen this movie yet. It's not out till next year, so it could still be shitty. So hopefully, and fingers crossed, it's just going to be a credible piece of work. I just wanted to say real quick, and because we have a lot more to talk about, and we're almost coming up on an hour, and we'll talk about those rather quickly because as you can see, this is probably the biggest one to go into. Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted to still see, and it never will happen, but I kind of would have wanted to see Christian Bale's Batman come back and be the Batman that fights the Superman. I know that, yes, we have Ben Affleck, and I'm pretty sure he's going to do a very good job with this. I can't see him not, in my opinion, and I'm not. This is an opinion that people go, oh, you suck. I still think he played Daredevil great. I just think it was the movie around him that wasn't.
Yeah, you can't blame.
I don't blame
Ben Affleck for Daredevil.
I thought he did an incredible job with Daredevil. The problem was just the movie. I think just elements of the movie, not the whole movie. Like the first, Daredevil killing somebody in the first scene, I was just like, awesome. I'm in the fucking movie. Yeah. I'm in this fucking movie. You just killed somebody. Let's go. I just thought that the movie, and I know I'm going off on a little tangent, but Daredevil kind of prepared him for this because this was allowed him to be a superhero and be like, okay, well, if this ever comes up again where I can be a superhero, I can do this again. And thank God Daredevil is actually back in the Marvel Universe because now we can see him and he'll probably be part of the Avengers eventually, which is good. That all being said, I would like to have seen Christian Bale's Batman, and I think it would have fit in well, especially with the fact that, everybody thought that Batman was dead. And, I think that Bruce Wayne was dead too. They thought Bruce Wayne was dead because because pretty much everybody knew at the end he was Bruce Wayne, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, no. Commissioner Gordon knew he was Bruce Wayne at the end. I don't know. What I'm trying to say.
The Dark Knight I've seen a billion times. Dark Knight Rises I've probably seen maybe 4 times.
Yeah, I gotta watch it over again. But
I literally have the DVD
pretty much what I'm
Dark
saying,
Knight on my desk,
right,
foot in front of me.
Pretty much what I'm saying is this could have been a perfect opportunity to do another trilogy with the Christian Bale Batman, and I think it would have worked. I honestly think it would have worked.
Well, people were really shitting on the voice, though.
Oh yeah.
That's a hard, and then if he changed it, then people were like, "Oh, he's not doing the voice anymore." He's damned if he did, damned if he didn't.
You mean Christian Bale?
What did I say? Christian?
Are you talking about?
I say Christian Bale did the. I'm not wearing hockey pads. Where is it? Where's the ball? Where is it? Yeah. And if he was in another movie and they said, "Okay, look, you can't do that voice anymore because the fans are goofing on it," some people would say, "Oh, where's the voice?" And then other people like some people would be assholes saying, "Oh, I'm glad he changed the voice."
Yeah.
But then the people then there are other people fans saying, "Why did he change the voice?" Yeah.
I always found it interesting because if you remember Batman Begins, the voice of Batman changed several times, and then at the end, you got that voice that we hear all the time. And I don't know and I always said to myself, I was like, I wonder if this was an error, or I wonder if this was originally an error, and the director saw it and went, I'm going to go with that. Because it actually, and to me, and I've said this before, I think it actually added to Batman being developed because, you know, Batman was trying to find himself, but he was also trying to find his voice.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually, you know, added to that character, and you know, I think it was a good thing.
Where's the trigger?
Where's Superman?
Swear to me.
Swear to me.
Do you
Swear to
bleed?
me. I'm hurting my voice now.
Do you bleed?
All right, so. Oh, you know what that reminds me of? That dad that goes on and puts those YouTube videos. It's hilarious.
Oh, that dad, yeah.
Oh my god, hilarious. But anyway, there's one up now where he looks over at the mask. The mask is like, "Come on, you know you want to do it, just do it." Then he puts the mask on and he starts like harassing his wife. It was hilarious. But anyways,
I would assume anyone watching the show knows about Bat Dad, but if you haven't checked out Bat Dad, just Google it.
Search, just Google it, man. You will thank us later because you'll sit there and be like, this is just hilarious. And then he has his kids sometimes put on the mask and do it. It's hilarious. But anyways,
okay, so we
gotta move on. We'll try to do these a little bit quickly. Let me see. So if we're gonna continue on,
I have Suicide Squad. I mean, of course, super awesome to finally see Harley Quinn, even though it's not the Harley Quinn we know and love. It is a Harley Quinn. I'm really liking this Margot Robbie.
This is the first Harley Quinn we've actually ever seen in a movie, right? I think.
Yeah, because
live action.
She's on Arrow, or she was on Arrow. There was an actress that played her on Arrow. Even though I've never watched Arrow, so unfortunately I don't.
Right.
But yeah, so there's been a live action one, but I mean, I like Margot Robbie. She looks like she could be a fucking psycho. Like she plays it very well. I like the fact that she's not over the top psycho. She's like, she looks like, I guarantee there's going to be scenes where she comes out of character, but like she looks, I don't want to see that. It's not the word ditzy, but she looks aloof, I guess would be the best way to put it without sounding like a fucking total.
Well, I kind of think this is going to be a test of Harley Quinn too, because we've never had a Harley Quinn out there. So this is going to be a test. One quick thing about this trailer, and I'm seeing a lot of it on the internet. Will Smith, why do you have to use your same line over and over again? What did he say? Oh, he said time to save the world.
Oh yeah, let's save the world. Yeah. And it's funny because I had, when you think about it, and I had made a post about this, Will Smith was an I Am Legend. Mm-hmm. And even though it was purely, they didn't think 10 years ago they were going to make a Batman and Superman movie, but not seriously. But, someone was smart enough in the theater said, okay, look, we're doing Times Square. Let's have a big, what kind of movie poster would we want to see? Oh, Batman and Superman. And then here we are, years later, where there is a genuine Batman Superman movie.
Exactly, yeah. And
Suicide Squad is an offshoot. It's in the same universe. I mean, Batman is in the Suicide Squad movie.
Right.
Then, his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, played Fish Mooney on the Gotham TV show. Yep. And also his son, who's a little fucking kook, nutty kid, he's gone out in public dressed as Batman, in an all white leather Batman suit. When he went to his prom, he wore his Batman suit. And then I believe when he went to Kim and Kanye's wedding, he wore the Batman suit. So there is a weird connection between the Batman universe and the Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith family.
Right.
I like.
It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays that character, and hopefully he doesn't. And I hope he doesn't nice up the character, because the character's not. I mean, he becomes more mature, and I think like I want to say that Will Smith's character actually eventually becomes. I want to say he almost becomes a good guy, doesn't he?
I think. Well, I mean, remember in this movie, the bad guys are the good guys,
right?
I think at the end of this movie, of course, look. I'm
saying like in the comics, isn't
everybody's gonna die besides? But it's gonna be Deadshot, Harley Quinn, the Joker, and everyone else is gonna die. They might keep Captain Boomerang or whatever.
Is it? What doesn't Deathshot turn like good at some point too? I don't remember if that's true or not, but
it's not good. But I don't think he turns good. I mean, because he's always been a mercenary,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think well, see, with Suicide Squad, he is kind of a good guy. You know what I'm saying? It's they're using bad people to do good things,
right?
So I guess you can.
Well, they're using them as disposable too. So
yeah, it is. But I'm saying you can kind of say that through Suicide Squad, he does good work, but that's only because he has no other fucking choice.
But like we said before, like Joker says that at the end, so hopefully that's the connection to this Batman universe that we want to see.
I know he wasn't doing it on purpose, but of course we only see him doing that one line, "I'm not going to kill you, I'm just going to hurt you real bad," but it sounded too much like Heath Ledger, and I know it's hard not to. It's hard. I mean, it's kind of because you got so many different versions. I mean, you have Mark Hamill, you have Jack Nicholson, you got Heath Ledger. He's kind of painted in a corner, on which one. Like I think anything he would have done, someone's gonna oh, he sounds like Jack Nicholson. Oh, he sounds like Heath Ledger. Oh, he sounds like Mark.
Sounded like any Joker, to be honest with you. I think he sounded like
I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna hurt you real bad. Which sounds like you want to know how I got these scars. To me, I don't.
To be honest with you, like he probably did channel that Joker because this one is going to be closer to that one. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't think, especially with his appearance, like he's not being a Joker that we've seen before. So hopefully we'll get to that. But we need to move on to everything else that we have here. Okay. Let's see. We said Green Lantern Corps while we're in the DC universe.
Yeah, Green Lantern Corps, which you and I are at odds here. I do not want Tyrese to play John Stewart. Tyrese always plays a goofy kind of character. I mean, he has the physique, yes. I've never seen him play a serious role. And I mean, to me, I remember him from like Baby Boy. I remember him from the first two Transformers movies, from the Fast and Furious movies. He is definitely a comedian. He's definitely a funny guy, who's also, he's in great shape. Don't get me wrong. But, to me, John Stewart has always been a mature. Like John Stewart is the kind of guy that would give Batman fucking commands and Batman would listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because John Stewart isn't going to give anybody bad commands. He's a general. He's a mature. I don't know.
Let me. First of all, nobody has been announced as the Green Lantern, and this is going to be called the Green Lantern Corps, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's the name of the movie, and apparently it's going
more than one Green Lantern.
Right. So there's going to be more than one. So the rumors out there were that Chris Pine was going to be Hal Jordan, and Tyrese, and we don't know this yet. Tyrese has been speculating that he's going. There's been a lot of speculation that Tyrese may actually
be on. Like, if I'm not mistaken, he's been tweeting like the shit out of it, which, great for him. I mean, I'm pretty sure he'd be excited to do it. I just, in my mind, I see, now if you said Idris Elba, yes, absolutely. Idris Elba is a guy with maturity and with fucking presence. And like I said, it's just, and I'm saying, and I have nothing against Tyrese. It's just, I can't see him playing a serious general type character.
I go back to, and it's even with Chris Pine, I go back to the fact that, and I can't think of his name. He plays Richard Castle in the TV series.
Nathan Fillion.
He should be. There was this fan trailer, and I don't know if you've ever seen this, Chris, but there's this fan trailer where they use scenes of him, and I'm guessing it's from Serenity and Firefly, and they use it in a way that portrays him where he is actually the Green Lantern, and a lot of people after seeing that were like, "Yeah, this guy is perfect for the role." Mm-hmm. I don't understand why we're not having that conversation again. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree with him. I agree. I think Nathan Fillion would have been an excellent.
He's older now, but
that's the one thing he has. That's his one unfortunate thing. He's a bit old.
But whatever. We'll see how that pans out too. Let me see what else. Now
they've even used Nathan Fillion as the voice of Green Lantern on a couple of their animated movies. They're smart enough that they already know, like they know there's so much of a fan love and association with him as Green Lantern that they've used his voice in some of the animated movies.
Well, they should have.
Yeah, because you can't get old in cartoons.
Right. Is there any more DC? I don't remember if there was anything else DC. I don't think so.
Let me see. Not on. Well, okay. Well, kind of, somewhat relatively. I finally watched The Death of Superman Lives. What happened? It was the movie by John Schnepp, who's done, Metalocalypse, and he's on AMC Movie Talk. He directed a movie basically talking about the movie that was going to be made starring Nick Cage as Superman, The Death of Superman. The movie was supposed to be called Superman Lives. And of course, there's tons of pictures online where he's wearing this funky, multi-oil colored kind of like rainbow suit or whatever. Turns out, and I don't think this is really spoiling it, he was only going to wear that suit for like one scene in the movie. There are other pictures out there, if you look hard enough, of him wearing a more traditional Superman outfit. Of course, yes, he had the long hair. But then again, in the 90s, Superman in the comics had long hair. The interviews, he interviews this guy named John Peters, who was the guy who at that particular time actually owned the rights to the Superman movies, and who is a fucking total psychopath. And once again, kind of like a tie-in with Will Smith, Superman Lives didn't get made, but he eventually ended up making Wild Wild West. He was the producer. He was like the main guy. And one of the jokes is one of his main things that the movie was supposed to be is that he wanted Superman to fight a giant spider. That was his, and it's a very famous story. Kevin Smith has told the story a bunch of times, and Kevin Smith tells the story again in this movie. This guy, and when you see the interview with this guy, and I recommend you download, go to the website, pay legit copy, because that's what I did. It's $15. This guy's a fucking kook. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's very rich. He got into the business because he was fucking Barbara Streisand's hairdresser. But his one thing that he told every writer that ever did the movie, and everyone agreed, he was going to fight a giant spider at the end of the movie. Now, of course, Superman Lives never got made, but then he went on to do Wild Wild West with Will Smith. Well, what happens at the end of Wild Wild West? Will Smith is fighting a giant, steampunk spider. So the guy got his wish. He wanted to see a giant spider in the movie. And he talks about it. It's not like it wasn't speculation. He talks about how he wanted a giant spider. He wanted Superman fighting a giant spider. And, Brainiac, there was a whole crazy story that, Brainiac was going to be in it, the giant spider, Lex Luthor was going to be a part of it. The one thing that I did not like, and I'm glad they didn't make this movie, and I'm glad, is they wanted Superman to have this little, basically it was like this, it was a teddy bear. Now imagine Superman as a baby with a teddy bear, but the teddy bear was actually this Kryptonian robot, which looked fluffy. And then as he got older, the robot teddy bear sort of morphed a little bit more and a little bit more, and basically became his friend and companion, and it was like his one contact with Krypton. And then when you see that crazy, funky, shiny suit that you see, and I don't think this is really spoiling it. When you see that crazy, funky suit, it's sort of a regenerative suit, because Superman fights Doomsday, gets the shit kicked out of him. And then this, at one point, was a teddy bear turned into a robot. His companion got him through all the years of being, growing up as an alien on a human planet. When he finally gets, like, for the lack of a better term, killed, the robot becomes that funky suit, and he's Superman in a rejuvenating suit. And I think that sounds so fucking retarded. That doesn't interest me at all. I'm glad they didn't use it. So yeah, I mean, and I don't think I'm spoiling it. It's definitely worth watching. And they interviewed Tim Burton, because Tim Burton was going to direct it. So The Death of Superman Lives, what happened? I just looked that up.
Okay, so let's move on to let's get through this other news really quickly. So Marvel, who wasn't going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, was there at San Diego Comic-Con. And okay, fine, I get it. It's only the Fox-owned movies, but still, don't say that you're gonna be at Comic-Con and then be at Comic-Con. You're still part of the movies. Whether or not 20th Century Fox owns these movies doesn't matter.
And if you visited the Marvel website during Comic-Con, and I don't know if it's still up there, they had live streams. They had 4-hour-long live streams. Now, of course, don't get me wrong, it was a lot of commercials for, of course, I mean, obviously commercials for Ant-Man, and interviewing. I mean, the hours and hours that I watched, they were talking, to like toy makers, all the merchandisers, merchandising where the real money is made, to quote,
well, okay, so
from Spaceballs.
Real quick, like
for people who said they didn't have a presence, I mean, they had live streaming video 4 hours at least each day, and then they had Ant-Man had a huge presence. So for them to say that they weren't at San Diego Comic-Con is kind of, they fibbed, or they panicked at the last minute and said, oh shit, we can't not be at Comic-Con.
Well, I know, so let's see. One of the things that Marvel did was the trailer for Deadpool, which was wonderful. And to what Chris said to me before the podcast, they used a part of that
trailer, that quote-unquote leaked trailer.
Yeah, they used
that got the internet buzzing about the movie. That was a big chunk of the trailer, which from what I understand is also going to be a chunk of the movie, which I understand. I mean, why waste perfectly good footage, or why waste a perfectly good idea?
Right, and I'm sure they reshot some of that stuff too. So
it was reshot, but I'm just saying they used the idea, probably fighting guys and pulling the head out of the truck, and shit like that.
And that trailer is supposed to be coming out in the next couple of weeks, so that'll be hilarious to see the official one, which is probably the same thing because it was played at the con. What else do we see?
Well, you see what's his face, Colossus.
Yes, Colossus is in there, and I can't think of what the girl's name is.
The girl's name is officially Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
That's stupid. Anyways,
well, think about it. If you're a superhero, you could give yourself any name. Why not be called Negasonic Teenage Warhead?
But I don't. We haven't heard anything about Wolverine being in it, but there's been multiple hints that he's going to be in it. So don't be surprised if he shows up.
They announced that Wolverine is doing his final. Well, Hugh Jackman is doing his final Wolverine solo movie, aka Old Man Logan, which was a comic released about 5-6 years ago, telling the story of what if Wolverine. It's not in canon. It's sort of like an alternate universe where all the villains band together and kill all the heroes except Wolverine. So it's Wolverine 50 years in the future, where he's now. Of course, there are characters that they can't use. I mean, Hulk was a part of the, I think that he meets like Hulk's family, so they can't have Hulk's family in this because Hulk is part of Marvel, which is not Fox's, and Fox doesn't have the rights.
He's not part of the Marvel universe, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, and so and there's a couple other characters which they're obviously just going to swap out characters. Like a lot of people saying, well, we could probably use the Thing instead of Incredible Hulk, but it's supposed to be what if Wolverine, a guy who doesn't die or hasn't died yet, in the future, years and years and years into the future, but all other heroes in the world have died. How does he handle that? Which was a critically acclaimed book and a smart choice, especially if it's going to be the quote unquote last Wolverine.
Doesn't he die in that one too? Anyways,
I should know if he does. I'm not even if I did, I don't know. I wouldn't, but I honestly don't know.
There's something. I don't know if it's a comic book or a novel where he dies. Like he kills somebody and then he dies as the sun comes up, and I can't remember exactly what the circumstance was, but maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of sad to see Hugh Jackman go, but there again, we're coming to the point where this Wolverine is kind of run its course.
Yeah, don't beat it into the ground. I don't want to see a fucking 60-year-old Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine.
Right.
Let's go out on a strong note.
I really wish that Fox had joined with Marvel Universe so we could have seen like a Captain America Wolverine movie, because part of Captain's backstory is the fact that Wolverine was fighting alongside him. I think it was just before he became Captain America, if I remember correctly. But there's that storyline. I would love to see that explored at some point. Hopefully it'll happen. I wish it was with the Hugh Jackman one, but whatever. Yeah. Moving on.
And speaking of Marvel, they better film all the Stan Lee cameos for all the future movies they plan.
Yeah.
Stan Lee may be dead before the next Marvel movie comes out. I certainly hope not. But
right.
He just went into the hospital recently. I want to say about 2 weeks ago at an Ant-Man premiere. He was able to see the Ant-Man premiere, but he went into the hospital soon after. So the guy's like in his 80s,
90s.
90s. Oh, so Jesus Christ! Film those cameos. Get him on film.
Yeah, exactly.
Haven't saying anything. Either that or they'd have the computer generator. They're gonna have to make like
one other
thing.
One other thing that came out was I think it was at San Diego Comic-Con, if I remember correctly, but it definitely it was in Entertainment Weekly magazine. Was the pictures of X-Men Apocalypse,
which sadly looks like, was it Ivan Ooze or some shit like that?
Ivan Ooze,
Ivan
yes.
Ooze from the Power Rangers movie. Of course, that was the first thing I thought, and of course, wouldn't you know, fucking within like 45 minutes of them releasing the news on my Facebook feed, everyone was, posting pictures of them two together.
Well, the funniest thing is where people are posting that picture where it says, when cosplay is greater than the actual movie.
If you haven't seen it yet, there is a guy at Comic-Con, and he works for like, it was obviously some like independent movie studio, whatever, where they put together a pretty accurate depiction of how Apocalypse looks in the comics. I mean, he does look silly because he has the big blue lips that go around the side of his face, and right. That character, he's a bulky guy. He wears like a futuristic kind of like spaceman armor. What we're seeing in the movies, it's the actual Fox was supposed to be the canon version of Apocalypse. Looks like a purple dude, old guy in a fucking purple trench coat. It's not impressive at all. Apocalypse is supposed to inspire fear, not be an old dude. He looks like an old dude. It's sad.
These other pictures of the X-Men, like, I'm just sitting there going, I hope it turns out to be good, but I don't know if I'm excited for this one. Like, the more that I see of it, and again, we haven't seen a trailer for this one, but the more I see of it, I'm just like, oh, please just don't put this on screen. But there again, it's done by Zack Snyder, right?
No.
Not Zack Snyder. Am I thinking somebody else?
Oh my god, I forgot his name. The guy he did part 1 and part 2, and why am I drawing a blank on it?
I thought it was Zack Snyder.
Oh, Zack Snyder was Batman v Superman.
Bryan Singer.
Bryan Singer, yes.
Bryan Singer. Okay, yeah, because those guys are kind of He definitely reminds me of Bryan Singer, but Bryan Singer is doing this, so it's kind of like, see, people, we have brain farts during the podcast.
Yeah.
We should really write this shit down.
Bryan Singer and Brett Ratner are two giants in the industry, and
right.
They could fart for an hour and a half on camera, and people are going to go see it. But
I'm excited. I mean, he's not going to take this in the wrong direction, so we'll see what happens, and hopefully everything will turn out the way that I know and I think it's going to be, and it'll turn out to be great. I kind of wish they would have had the older X-Men in it, but, hey, you got to kind of try to get away from that. And plus, this is a new universe anyways now.
Yeah. I'm really digging Olivia Munn as Psylocke. Like I said, she's broken my heart, but,
I'm sure we probably have missed some other things, but...
the new Storm looks good, and just while we're still on Marvel stuff, just two things. One, I don't like the fact that they had T.J. Miller in the Deadpool movie, in the trailer, where he's like, "Oh, you look like an avocado, fucked an older avocado," or whatever. Look, Ryan Reynolds is the smart mouth. He's the sarcastic one. We don't need a sidekick that's wisecracking and snarky. That's what Deadpool is for. So I don't know what kind of bullshit that, we have to, bring the kids in. Let's have T.J. Miller because he's on Silicon Valley. And T.J. Miller was also on Transformers 4 or whatever. And no one remembers that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't particularly like him. He was in fucking Cloverfield. You know what I'm saying? Like, his parts are not good. He's yet to be good in a movie. Now, of course, he's a wisecracking sidekick. But how could you have a wisecracking sidekick in a movie where the hero is the wisecracker? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need a second guy making jokes.
Well, I said, I mean, we'll...
It's overkill. I mean, and then also the biggest news, and I think I might have mentioned this last episode, but once again, watching the Marvel stream, they straight up interviewed Wesley Snipes, and even the interviewer had asked him, what's your feeling on Blade coming back, Blade returning in general, and how do you think Blade would fit into the Marvel universe? And this wasn't the interview going, oh, hey, look, Wesley Snipes over there, let me go interview him. No, this was a calculated move, and I'm certainly all behind Wesley Snipes coming back as Blade. Give him his own fucking trilogy, or at the very least, like right now where we have like Falcon or War Machine or Winter Soldier. We have these characters in these movies that unfortunately they're okay, or Hawkeye or Black Widow. These are characters that may not get their own movie, but they get plenty of screen time. They definitely add to the universe, and especially since Blade is character in the magical realm. Can we please get him in the Doctor Strange movie, or at the very least in the fucking post-credit scenes? I think it's a perfect fucking fit. I would love to see Wesley Snipes and fucking Benedict Cumberbatch together on screen. I think it'd be fucking incredible. And I'm not saying that to be sarcastic. Once again, he may not get his own trilogy. He's had his trilogy, he's had his time. But shit, can we get some fucking Wesley Snipes in this book? Can we get some fucking Wesley flavor in this motherfucker? Because I think, Wesley would, of course, hire him an accountant.
Yeah, exactly.
Have someone, handle his books correctly, because I don't want him to go back to the federal jail. But I am super excited if we see Wesley Snipes in a fucking Marvel movie as Blade. Even though I felt he would have been a good Black Panther, but that's just me.
All right. Well, I think we've come to the end here. If we missed something, we apologize. But hey, this is already an hour and a half already. So. Yeah.
And also, if you know where to look, you can find the first 2 episodes of season 2 of Rick and Morty. If you know where to look, they haven't been officially released, but if you know where to look, you can download them. They're both pretty good.
Right.
And that's about it. That's all I have. And I just wanted to talk about something super duper real quick. It was funny that Star Wars had their panel at Comic-Con, and right after the Star Wars panel was Kevin Smith's panel, where he was going to talk about his movie Yoga Hosers. Well, what happened was, after the Star Wars panel, J.J. Abrams said, "Hey, everybody. We're throwing this concert over here a couple blocks away from this in the convention center. How about everybody come with us?" And they threw fucking a billion those toy lightsabers into the crowd. They marched 6,000 people a couple blocks away to where they had a whole other area set up for basically a concert, a free concert right after the Hall H, panel. And so Kevin Smith, who I love and I admire, they said, in a room that was set to hold 6,000 people, 22 people sat at his panel for his upcoming movie Yoga Hosers, which I love Kevin Smith. And you know what it is, when you listen to the podcast coming up to Comic-Con, he says, I'm going to get destroyed by Star Wars. He goes, you can't follow. That's a hard act to fucking follow. But when 22 people in a 6,000 room for 6,000 people show up, it's kind of sad. But, he's going to take it all in stride. I don't think it broke his spirit. He knew it was coming.
Apparently, J.J. Abrams felt really bad about it. So I guess it's been all cleared up, but yeah. So.
Well, shit. Kevin Smith, if you go back, about a year ago, he was visiting the set. J.J. Abrams invited him onto the set. So shit, yeah. Kevin Smith has no business on a Star Wars set. Not really, not legitimately. He went as a guest. So, like I said, I don't think it really shook him, but it was it's kind of fucked up, but it's funny at the same time. Okay.
All right, so let's get the hell out of here.
Please visit twostrangersonepodcast.net. You can find all things show related. You can find our links to our iTunes page, where you can go back and listen to all 3 years worth of Two Strangers One Podcast if you choose to.
The pipes are clean.
The pipes are clean. If you don't have an iPhone, an iPad, or an iPod, you can visit and download and subscribe to us on the Stitcher app. That's STITCHER, the Stitcher app. What I like about Stitcher is any podcast worth listening to. Chris Hardwick's The Nerdist, Mark Maron's WTF podcast, Kevin Smith's Modcast, and of course the Toonami Faithful podcast, Paul's Other Baby. They're all available on the Stitcher app. What my favorite option is there's called the Listen Later option, where while you're in a Wi-Fi spot, if you're at home, if you're at McDonald's, you're at Starbucks, or at the local library, you can download all the 10 most recent episodes of your favorite podcast. And while you're not in a Wi-Fi spot, you don't have to kill your data. You could just listen to the podcast later on and enjoy them without killing your battery, without killing your data plan, and enjoy all the fun things. And I would certainly love to think that people are listening to this podcast when they're supposed to be working, when they're supposed to be doing something important. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Two Strangers One Podcast, all spelled out. Once again, it's facebook.com/Two Strangers One Podcast. It just takes 2 seconds to share this episode. It takes 2 seconds to like the page. Get the word out. Of course, we want your money, but if you can't give us money, at least spread the word. Like I said, just like this episode or like the page in general. Give us a little social media presence. If you want to write us, like my favorite person in the world, Oscar, you can write us at twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. That's all spelled out, twostrangersonepodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to, you can follow us on Twitter, and I keep forgetting to fucking follow it.
At Stranger Podcast.
At Stranger Podcast. And if you choose, you could also see my little goofy I call it Stranger Vlog. You go on YouTube and search for Two Strangers in One Podcast. You can see my little 10 videos. I keep wanting to do more. I'm just fucking always caught up on some other bullshit. I'm too busy playing Batman Arkham Knight for PS4. Which
yes, I've noticed.
I'll get into that next episode because I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't played it yet. But it's fucking awesome. If you liked Arkham City, imagine Arkham City, but bigger and more. The game fucks with you. What's one thing I just I don't want to get into the game. Fucks with you. It fucks with you psychologically. Sometimes it scares you. Sometimes it puts you in weird it puts you in weird mindsets. It's a great game. It's like if they took Arkham City and made it more psycho, and that, to me, that's a great thing. If you could get your hands on it, get Batman Arkham Knight. It is a fucking great game. And I equest the floor to you, sir.
About time. Jesus Christ. So you can find me on Twitter at Paul Pascrillo. You can find me on Instagram, instagram.com/Paul Pascrillo. I try to post some things, but it's kind of hard when you do 2 podcasts, 2 websites, and so on and so forth. You know the list by now. If you don't, well, then you don't listen, so fuck you. And you can ask me questions. It's ask.fm/Paul Pascrillo. I'm open to asking, ask me Toonami questions, ask me non-Toonami questions. I'm a huge nerd. If you ask me Star Trek questions, I probably will give you a long answer, so please do answer me those kinds of questions because I love Star Trek. So yeah, I mean, that's about it. We got some good music coming up, so keep your eye out for it. Kadesh sent me some songs in the email, and we're finalizing things, so just around the corner is when this new CD is supposed to be out, so There'll be some more information coming up.
So we certainly hope you guys enjoyed listening and had as much fun as we did recording. Thank you for listening to Two Strangers in One Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Paul.
Don't be a stranger.
Peace. We're out.
Bye. You should be fapping
all night long. All night long.
All night. Everyone you meet dancing in the street.
No, only I get to sing.
All right, here we go, man. Go ahead. You want to read
Double Jackpot.
What is it?
It is a self-published book by Christopher Cologne.
Chris Cologne? Smells good to me.
But
look at her. That broke that fucking cold little exterior. He's like, hee.
But it is spelled C-O-L-O-N.
Him punny.
But Double Jackpot is a book about a comic book artist, Eric, who is in a loveless relationship with a materialistic
I feel you, Eric.
Lynette.
Oh, fucking. Are you sure I didn't write this? I smell sounds hauntingly familiar.
He starts cheating on his girlfriend with a more creatively supportive woman, Nadia.
Well, I got to meet her. Where's the Nadia?
There's your summer girlfriend.
Summer Nadia is Nadia.
Nadia?
Yeah, I think Nadia is spelled with an A.
All right.
Both Lynette and Nadia play the double jackpot, the largest payout in lotto history, much like the recent Powerball. Both girls play his birth date as the winning numbers. Eric is now stuck between two of the country's richest women. Who will he choose? It's not that simple. This is a clever fucking idea,
yeah,
man.
Is.
Look at her. Fucking, she's impressed.
I am.
She got some summer reading. Christopher Cologne smells real lovely with an original idea. This is. I've never heard this before.
I haven't either. This is a self-published book, much in the indie spirit as Kev's Clerks.
Oh, you don't even need to name check me. This is just a good idea. You could stand on your own, man. You don't even have to be like, hey, remember Clerks? This is nothing like that. This is way more original than Clerks. This is a good idea, man. Why didn't I think of this?
I need something to read. This book is part of the Comic Books, Heavy Metal, Video Games Trilogy Book 2. Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, coming soon.
Right on, man. It's part of a trilogy. This is the first part.
Way to write, man.
He's seeking a literary agent. Motherfuckers, anybody out there? There ain't no literary agents listening to this show, I assure you, sure. Sure. I assure you, sure. But somebody know a literary agent? Hook a motherfucker up! Chris Cologne come up with an original idea. I should tell Raskin. That's a good fucking idea, to be honest with you. That's a fucking rom-com right there. Megan, get Raskin on the phone. Isn't it possible to get Raskin on the phone? No?
Yeah.
I want to run it past him, man. And if it happens, I get a taste, Chris Cologne. I get a whiff, if you will.
The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com.
That's lulu.com.
I understand that. I just want to spell it out.
Normally one says it, that spells it. Still, lulu.com. What is that? Do you know what it is?
I don't know. All right. The book could also be ordered on www.lulu.com. Search for Double Jackpot Christopher Cologne. A paperback version of the book is $15, and a PDF file is only $5.
$5 is
Yeah.
insanely inexpensive. 15 is not even that bad for a paperback version.
No.
This is $1 million idea right here. Like a movie about a dude who fucking is stuck between two chicks, both of who play his birthday and win the lottery. Come on! I can see that trailer. Chris Cologne is on to something. Nobody else can smell it but me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I'm going to make that smelly joke.
I know. You're trying to get me to laugh again.
It worked once. Double Jackpot is a self-published book by Chris Cologne, man. It's the first book in his comic books, heavy metal, video games trilogy. Book 2, Odd I See, A Tale from the Road, should be coming out soon. Get all the information at Chris Cologne, like a motherfucker.
I will
his
totally
book,
read this.
Double Jackpot. I'm serious. I'm going to recommend that to fucking Raskin. How is that not a movie? You know what I'm saying? This could be a sexy movie. You could do an R-rated version. There could be nudity in it, and you could show them fucking both chicks. Maybe a little penetration. Maybe a butthole shot. No butthole, no care.
I would like to formally apologize to Christopher Cologne.
No, sex sells. Chris Cologne will appreciate that. He's like, thanks for throwing a few buttholes in there, man.
Don't forget to check out twostrangersonepodcast.net, your one-stop resource for everything show-related. You can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher. You could also find links to buy my book, Double Jackpot, on twostrangersonepodcast.net.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.